For weeks, the media has been doing everything they can to defend the Rings of Power and attack people online, criticizing it, and there's been a lot of articles calling us disgusting things simply for not liking a show. But a new article released about toxic fans that covers everything from The Last Jedi to Ghostbusters 2016 to Rings of Power. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So this article is from Forbes, but I am using an archive because I didn't want to give them my click. I don't want to support an article like this. It says, "The voice to the Rings of Power, everyone is tired of toxic fans." No, what everyone is tired of is hack journalists, legacy media, and out-of-touch Hollywood elites who believe in a message that they think the everyday consumer follows when they don't. It's time that all of these individuals start accepting we live in a day and age when the average consumer can voice their opinions. It says, when the entertainment industry finally started to embrace diversity and representation, the shift awakened something ugly lurking inside fantasy and sci-fi fandoms. The ugliness was on display following Disney's Star Wars sequel trilogy, but the 2016 all-female Ghostbusters reboot sticks out as a flashpoint in which the surge of rapid misogyny and racism was difficult to separate from legitimate criticism. Landing a role in Star Wars should be a high point for any young actor, but Daisy Ridley and Kelly Marie Tran were both bullied off of social media after being targeted by hateful fans. John Boyega, who was subjected to racist abuse, was refreshingly candid about his own experience, publicly criticizing Disney for contributing to the problem by pushing non-white actors to the side. Now, of course, they are bringing up things like the Star Wars sequel trilogy, they're bringing up Ghostbusters 2016, they're bringing up films that people have hated because they were just bad, not because people were racist or sexist. We hated these films because the writing was terrible. It's as simple as that. But of course, as you see, they start off with talking about Daisy Ridley and Kelly Marie Tran. The problem with the Kelly Marie Tran situation is that while she claims she left social media because of hate, over the years we've never seen any proof of this hate, so these journalists are just writing articles based on hearsay and her anecdotal comments. There's no evidence there was massive amounts of hate sent her way. We don't know what hate would have even been to her. Is saying she's a poor actress hate? Is saying her character was bad hate? We'll never know, and it just proves these journalists are very biased. Daisy Ridley, another similar situation. She left social media for a bunch of years. She ended up coming back, and she said it was for my mental health. She didn't really give any other reasoning beside that, but they also bring up John Boyega, yet they aren't criticizing Disney here. While I didn't like the Star Wars sequel trilogy, I've defended someone like John Boyega because, of course, Disney shrunk his face on the Force Awakens poster for the Chinese region, and they also apparently wrote him out of a bunch of storylines because they, unfortunately, were not wanting to highlight his character because they knew that it couldn't sell in specific markets. Okay, I have defended John Boyega for years at this point, yet of course these journalists don't want to bring up a situation like that. It says, while the culture wars aren't exactly new, they have definitely escalated to an absurd degree. There's a thriving industry on YouTube of anti-woke commentators churning out low-effort videos that display zero media literacy, criticizing perceived wokeness in media. But there's also articles like this that are being churned out, absolutely low-effort articles from hack journalists who want to be activists, but unfortunately for them, can't get hired in any other industries. They can't get hired by the companies they want to work for, so they end up coming to the entertainment industry because it's pretty easy to get into, and they sit here and criticize other people for simply giving their opinions on films. It says, for example, the most recent Predator movie, Prey, was torn apart by these commentators before it was even released, simply because the heroic protagonist was female. We criticized this movie, and we are allowed to. This is the problem with this article, is that they are sitting here calling us ists and phobes and terrible people for simply talking about our opinions. Like, I would be considered one of these channels that this journalist is talking about. I'm allowed to criticize movies. I'm allowed to judge trailers and say, hey, listen, I think that this looks bad. That doesn't make me a terrible person. But the toxic tidal wave finally seems to be receding as showrunners, writers, and actors appear to be far more comfortable speaking out against bigotry, telling the toxic fringe of their fan base they are no longer welcome here. It is just a joke that keeps on writing itself with these people, because individuals like the Rings of Power actors, showrunners, producers say, we want to make Tolkien for everyone. We want to make a show that everyone can enjoy. Yet they also are saying, you know what, you're no longer welcome here. It's inclusion by exclusion, and it doesn't work, okay? It is bullshit. You can't say, this is for everyone, by saying, oh, it's not actually for everyone. You're not allowed to enjoy it, but you're also not allowed to give your opinions. You're not allowed to criticize a product that you simply don't like. It says much of the hype around the Rings of Power has been overshadowed by bigoted Tolkien fans, angered at the diverse casting, prompting the actors of the show to speak out, even joined by the actors from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, who also spoke out against racist commentary. And I have always said this, but there are always going to be a few bad apples in every bunch. There are probably a few individuals who are going on social media saying legitimate, hateful, racist things, but you can't say that every critic of the show is just a racist. It's not true. It is not real. As you can see here, these journalists are magnifying the minority opinion of legitimate hateful comments and project that onto all criticism so that they can delegitimize any valid criticism. This makes them believe they can hide behind a diversity and racism shield instead of just accepting that fans don't like what's being produced. As you can see, they provide absolutely no evidence of the hate they're talking about, primarily because it doesn't exist, and they cannot accept the fact that people are allowed to criticize bad products. I'm sure in the next few weeks we'll see a lot more articles coming out by journalists exactly like this, who want to suck up to Amazon and defend the Rings of Power, but for now that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.